So this short shiur is for Ilui Nishmat Shabbatai Ben Flora v'Yosef HaKohen Tiyi Nishmato Tzua B'Tzorach Chaim. A lot of things have changed. A lot of things have changed in terms of the way we do in terms of what we do in our lives, how we do things in life, and so on and so forth. And I think it gives us a good opportunity to really regroup and do things correctly, or to continue destroying things even further. One of the biggest problems, as I see in recent years, and I'm not just talking in terms of Jewish world, I'm talking about altogether, is the dehumanization in all aspects of our life. For example, let's say you want to go to the bank. So you have to make today an appointment to go to the bank. You can't just go to the bank, walk into the bank, whatever you want. Everything has to be by appointment. You hardly speak to people. Leave a message, until you get a person. That's something already started, But until you get a person, you can't get anybody, You get your machines to answer for you. You have the computers to answer for you, and so on and so forth. We don't talk to people anymore. The amount that you speak to people on the phone is less, because today we go into quick texting like those WhatsApp and so on and so forth. We don't have an ability or discipline to read a book, because everything is like a Vin or a TikTok or whatever it is, 20 seconds of whatever, and we're all thrilled about it and we keep on going. So we're developing very, very bad habits that ultimately we're creating horrific people. And the problem with the deterioration of that, because once we lose the human contact with one another, therefore we expose ourselves to uncontrolled external influence based on people's idea, and then we get to where we get today, where it seems like the world is losing its marbles in terms of political and social interactions. Human contact in terms of even kids in school, becomes a problem. You go to college today, most colleges, yes, in the excuse of COVID, they went to a Zoom or lecture thing, so therefore you don't need to sit in a classroom with 20, 40, 50 or 100 people in a classroom. You had a professor that's sitting down at home and giving a lecture and so on, and that's about college, and everybody is not apologetic. It used to be that you had few colleges that offer a few, not important degrees, let's say like a master's in history online. But today, everything and everybody is online, and we're losing a lot of that connection, and ultimately we're losing a lot of workplace people, because imagine like this, one professor can give a class online, just records it, and can give classes upon classes over and over again, where if in reality the university has to have, let's say, 10 professors, now I can replace it with one professor that does it like that. So it becomes a problem. The quality is not there. Nothing is there. We became a society that is interested in data and numbers and nothing else. That's all that counts. There's no human component anymore. And the ones who would suffer for the most from that, it's first of all, it's everybody. But then there's going to be, it's like the bell curve, Those on the edges will suffer the most. Who would that be? The category of kids, let's say from age 0 until they become, let's say, like 18 years old when they go to college and so on and so forth. And then on the other hand, you're going to have the elderly people that lose any kind of connection with kids, family, or anybody like that. Now, to kids, it's horrific, and that's something that I would like to address to you, is kids is terrible, because you don't interact with your kid anymore. Kids don't go to school anymore, right? And we used to blame schools for ruining our kids. So now the kids are at home, let's see what kind of a job do we do to the kids. The kids are going to be in front of the computer. Where is that interaction, this humanization, not dehumanization? Everything today is through, electronics and technology and foreign. Just like I'm talking to some of you now through the video. We need to have this interaction to be able to allow human interaction, physical human interaction, to be healthy. So when, for example, if you are a parent with kids at home, you will need to take a break 1 second and reanalyze and rethink about what you're doing. Example giving, go outside, go play ball with your kid. Go throw a ball with your kid. Go fishing with your kid. Go play Scrabble with your kids. Do something with your kid. I don't know. You gotta do something physical with your kid. Don't just put them in front of the Zoom and the way, because what you're going to have, you're going to have kids out of Zoom. You're going to have people out of focus. So we need to, ourselves as a community as well. I mean, it's stupid that some, okay, we can bring example from conservative and reformed Jews in terms of how they're doing things, but to have a service on Zoom is dumb. Not that, of course, halachically is a problem, but, those people don't really care about halakha. But it's really dumb, because what's the point? So we need to make sure that we have all these things. So what we do, what is our obligation to do, is just to do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. In other words, we need to make sure that we provide, first of all, to ourselves, we have physical contact, physical, real contact, live contact with real people, not through WhatsApp or videos, calls, or Zoom, or this or that. You need to have that. That's why you need to have chavruta to learn together. You need to come to yeshiva to learn. In shuls, we need to increase this connection with the people. We need to increase all the chesed activities that we have. We need to make sure to visit people. We need to increase the bikur cholim. And bikur cholim would even mean that, let's say there is a COVID and you can't go into a person, even just you're concerned with it, you wear a mask, you're coming to the place, you don't need to hug and kiss and just say, how are you, put your mask on, and then you go out. Just make sure people are alive. People are, especially old people, they're disappearing. And because we don't, and they might be alive, but they're disappearing because we don't care anymore. And we use that COVID. Oh, it's COVID. So therefore, there are people that haven't seen a living soul in months. And it's horrific. To kids is the other thing. Kids into this, the little kids, I don't know what's going to happen. You're talking about how bad it is now. I want to see the world. We thought that the people from the 60s, all those dope heads, that were hippies in the 60s, create a mess in the world now. I want to see, maybe I shouldn't really, but I'm not looking forward to see who would run the world 30 years from now from kids who are educated through Zoom. And who's controlling that? So turn off your TV. Turn off your external media. Encourage your kids to read. Most kids do not read. And if you don't read, you're going to have, not a kid, you're going to have a moron. Kids that don't read is horrible. Ask your kid to do the following. Read a book, write me a small report. When they do so, give them a reward. Encourage their reading. Reading is the #1 antidote for stupidity as we're experiencing it today. Most people don't read. They're thinking about closing libraries because people don't read. People like to have, how do you call it, when binge watching, that's it. Nobody can take a book and read. And that affects you, not even as a Jew, that affects you as a human being. You're becoming extremely shallow. And then will affect also, for example, when you go to school, you're going to give a work in college. The PhD level work that is being produced in recent years by PhD candidates is garbage. It's something that at 9th grade I would never be able to fly with. And what it is, I have to say what he says. I review some kind of what he said and give a review whatever was written. Here and there I throw a couple of my ideas and so on and so forth. To say it needs to be checked further. Boom, you got a PhD. It's ridiculous. I'll tell you that. Because of that, I refuse to go get a PhD because I'm not willing to put something so bad out of my hands. Colleges turn into, from parochial schools turn into professional, into like a vested, like professional schools. We teach in professions. Liberal arts is almost dead in schools. Nobody takes liberal arts anymore. It's all practical, so it's vocational schools, not universities. You call it university, you call it college, vocational schools. How many people learn, for example, computer science versus philosophy? And that's why we have no new theories coming out. Very few people come up with new theories. I don't know, Don Ariely is one of them, He has, theory. But how many how many new theories we get in psychology? Everything is just repeating of something else. We became extremely shallow. And therefore the intellectual property that we're coming out is bad. And as a result of that, society deteriorates. So we need to put these things in place. Bikur cholim, caring for sick people, caring for older people. We need to do it. So instead of worrying, are we going to open the governor, the mayor, and this? Okay, no, choleras, what do I care about them? They all care about themselves. Because the fact they care about themselves doesn't mean that I should stop caring about others. I need to do what needs to be done. I need to make sure that I visit people. I know there's some person, it's not even my family, even in your family, somebody who is old, call them up, say, how you doing? Can I come and visit? Let's have a cup of coffee, or, I just say hi. No, COVID, I don't let people, okay, I'll come to the door, wave to me, and then we'll go. How about little children? Those of you who have children, what are you doing? Who are you going to blame now? You're going to blame the president, you're going to blame the mayor for your kids not becoming, sit down with your kids, spend time with your kids. That's why you are the parents. Spend time with your kids, invest in them, those little things, Teach your son to make a barbecue. And if you don't know how to make a barbecue yourself, so go learn how to make a barbecue yourself, and then do it with your kid. Sit down and talk to your kid. Chill out over a hot dog, or tofu, whatever it is that you want to eat. Do something with your kid. If your mothers teach your kids, your sons or your daughter how to bake things together, then just, throw flour on one another, have some fun, chill out a little bit. But we all want to be left alone so we can continue to our own small, insignificant world. We don't want to create broad horizons, and we're going to pay the price for that. We cannot sit on the side. That needs to be done. That needs to be said. And that's why I'm telling what I'm telling you. It's time to roll the sleeve and do what needs to be done. Reach out to people. You see a guy that doesn't come to Yeshiva for a long time, call him up. Say, hey, listen, buddy, you're not coming out to Yeshiva. What's going on? No, I'm busy. How about a cup of coffee? Let's sit down, have a cup of coffee. Let's come and eat, we'll talk something. You can come back to Yeshiva to learn, because we're going to lose these people. We're going to lose a lot of people. And the most important thing is we're going to lose the future generation. We're going to lose our generation of our parents, and we're going to lose the generation of our children and grandchildren. And we cannot afford this to happen. There's nobody to blame but yourself. So maybe after all, this whole dehumanization, this globalization that causes a tremendous disease, and it's a problem having all this globalization, because before we didn't have such a problem. Maybe this COVID, whether it was produced in a lab in Virginia and was sold to the Chinese or whatever it was, right now doesn't make any difference whatsoever. What is important is what we are going to do. And instead of dehumanization, we need to create humanization. Disconnect yourself from all external media. It's poison for you. It's micro. You're talking about conspiracy. That's where it all starts. The media controls your life. Don't let anybody control your life. Connect personal kesher with people. Don't learn. That's why I said don't learn through Zoom. If you have to, you have to. Like we had to at the time, we had to. We couldn't get together because we didn't know. But now, put a mask on, come to learn. Learning through Zoom is not learning. Learning through CDs is not learning. It's listening to Torah. Yes, it's better than to listen to NPR, to listen to some drasha on the car or while you're driving, but it's not the same thing as coming in person. And you're going to pay the price for that. I can tell you for sure, but the price to pay for this dehumanization that we're all experiencing is too great for us to pay for any of us. So let's pay attention. Invite people over for Shabbat. Somebody who you know is safe, invite him for Shabbat. One Shabbat you go to him, one Shabbat he comes to you, and so on and so forth. We need to build, and that's the only way we're going to survive. And don't think that not the numbers are down or the numbers, that's the survival rate, that's not necessarily due to the numbers of positive COVID cases and so on and so forth. It's all dependent on how we're going to continue the personal contact. And now we're going to see it. You're going to see why people are also very upset that the government is limiting in a very discriminative way the gathering of people. Yes, we are contribute to that as well, but also they have a point. So it takes two to tango, right? So let's do what we need to do. And if the government is trying to limit us from gathering together, so let's gather in a smaller way. You and I and so on and so forth, we're all going to make the difference. And that's what I have to say to you. So have a wonderful day and become human.